Well, married couples over the age of 50 are splitting up in so-called gray divorces. In fact, it's happening to people in that age range more so than any other age group.
The so-called gray divorce boom is leading to the highest divorce rates in U.S. history. And here to continue this conversation this morning is certified financial planner and author Regina McCann-Hess. Regina, good morning to you. I know you're coming to us from Philadelphia this morning. Or Pennsylvania, excuse me.
Good morning. That's okay. I'm right outside of Philadelphia.
Right outside of Philadelphia. That's right, the suburbs. So start by explaining what gray divorce is and why there's such a high number of people splitting up in their marriages.
Oh, great. So it actually was a term coined, I think, back in 2004. And at that point, it was referring to people aged over 40 going through a divorce. But now they've upped the age to 50. And usually it is people who are, a lot of times it's a lot of empty nesters. They've waited till the kids got through school and now they feel like, it's time for them to move on and do it. Something that they've been thinking about for several years sometimes. Other times it could be career change or midlife crisis. And again, going back to the empty nest syndrome, those kind of things have really, had an impact on the gray divorce area. And the challenges there, did you also ask about challenges?
Go ahead. Yeah. I mean, some of the challenges in particular.
Yeah, in particular, especially at that age, there's not a lot of time to recover because you split assets, right?
Yeah.
And you've been saving for retirement all these years, and now you had this big mountain, hopefully a big mountain of money, right? And then it split into two, and sometimes people don't have as much time to recover to save for retirement. So that is one of the biggest challenges that people face.
Well, I've heard, I'm not an expert or anything, but I've heard that, money is one of the number one causes when it comes to divorce. And you're a finance expert, so what should you do if you and your partner are polar money opposites and you just can't agree? Like, how do we avoid some of these increasing divorce rates?
Well, that's a challenge, and I think it begins with sitting down. I love telling people to have kitchen table conversations because it feels non-threatening to both parties. A kitchen table conversation about what do we agree with and what do we disagree with, and how can we compromise on the things that we don't agree on. And if you both walk away with feeling like you had to give something up to make the compromise, then it probably has been a successful conversation, because you're not going to agree on everything. But if you can both somewhere meet in the middle and still have a productive conversation, it can help guide you towards staying in the marriage lane.
What would you say are some of the do's and don'ts of cohabitating and in particular sharing money too, because that's one of the biggies here?
Yeah, I'm a firm believer in having conversations around the finances, whether or not it's a quarterly breakfast meeting at your kitchen table. You see, I keep referring to that kitchen table again, but where both parties are part of the conversation. Now, I know we always delegate things in our house, and one person primarily does take care of this. But if you have a quarterly conversation about, like, hey, this is what we have, these are our expenses, this is our income, these are our savings, so that there's not a surprise for anybody along the way. And sometimes someone feeling neglected or feeling out of that conversation is going to feel a great deal of appreciation if they're pulled into that conversation.
And I know that some of those conversations are hard sometimes, particularly when you're thinking about two people in a marriage and maybe there's some differences on the level of income someone makes versus the other. So maybe that person on the lower end is a little hesitant to have that conversation about money. But I guess you kind of just need to suck it up and talk about it, right? Because it's one of those big issues that if you're not on the same page, it really could lead to some problems.
I've actually seen divorces because of the fact that one spouse wouldn't explain it to the other spouse, where I've had spouses ask repeatedly, like, hey, I just want to be part of the conversation. I don't want to take over or be in control. I just want to know what is going on. And I just met with a client last week who's going through divorce, and she's like, I had no idea how much money we had.
Wow.
I asked all the time and he wouldn't tell me. And now she's able to find out, but she had to go through a divorce to find it. Sad.
Yeah, it is. Very much is.
Well, thank you so much.
Yeah, it's you know, a really important conversation. It's obviously a disturbing trend because you know you never want to see a marriage end. There's various reasons for that happening, and it's just important to have that open line of communication so that you're both on the same page and can help move forward together as a couple.
Yeah.
Thanks for your time today. Nice to
Thank
chat
you.
with you.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's hard. I mean,
is, yeah.
personally, I went through one last year. Sucked. It sucks, you know, for people that have been through that process, and didn't have anything to do with money. It was just the relationship didn't work out and went our separate ways, and there's a lot of emotions tied with that. Haven't talked a lot about it publicly, but it's tough. You know, you never want somebody to have to go through that. You get into the marriage thinking that it's something that's going to happen or you know, stay for the rest of your life, right? And there's various reasons that relationships end, and it's unfortunate that it happens, but it happens, and we know that money is a big precursor for a lot of the problems that couples have, and sometimes it's difficult having those conversations, especially when there's a difference in somebody making more than the other person and not being on the same page about that.
Thanks for your vulnerability, Steve.
It happens, you know?
It happens, yeah. Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah.
But it does sound like there are resources and ways to kind of get ahead of some of those challenges, like consulting a financial planner, like the woman we just talked to, or just communicating, having that kitchen table talk. I like that advice.
I do too.
Yeah.
Having those conversations. And I would say that communication is key.
Yeah.
Any marriage, any relationship, communication is key, so hopefully it's an open line of communication.
Well, I'm listening to you because I have never been married before, so thanks for the advice, Steve.